The Trois-Rivières circuit, or Three Rivers when translated, is a street circuit in the city that bears the same name in Quebec, Canada. Since 1967, it's been hosting the annual Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières, which is the longest running street race in North America. Before I talk about my personal thoughts on this racetrack, let's get through the facts. It has a really interesting turn that goes through the Porte du Plessis, an historic monument that's been standing since 1938. Going through this turn in anything other than single file is pretty much a guaranteed DNF, unless you're racing something smaller like Legends cars on an alternate racing line. The track is also sometimes called the Little Monaco, which is due to it being a long-running street circuit with a lot of cultural significance and the fact that the original organizers wanted to replicate what they had seen on the actual streets of Monaco. Pretty much everything with four wheels has raced there, from Can-Am monsters to rallycross cars, with TCRs and LMP 900s in between. Throughout the 58 years of its existence, the road circuit has had 7 configurations and 8 if we count reversing the direction of the circuit. My favorite would have to be the 1978 to 1985 layout, which I wasn't able to find on any sim, with the infield extension, although it meant that the cars did not roll through the Porte du Plessis anymore, they only rolled in front of it. The layout went away in 1985 after the race organization went through financial difficulties and then became what we now know as the Circuit Trois-Rivières. Now, I've got a weird admiration for this racetrack. Maybe because it's near where I was born, or maybe because it's the first racing weekend I ever went to. It has character and forgiving walls and features, yet is wide enough to offer great elbows-out racing. Some of my favorite race cars of all time have raced on these streets. The ProDrive 550 GTS, the Viper GTSR, the C5R, or any car out of the 90s SCCH Trans Am field. Too bad my favorite Can-Am creation, the Dodge small block powered Shadow DN4B, did not make it to the race in 1977. While we're at it, my favorite driver of all time, Gilles Villeneuve, made his mark at this track when he beat a bunch of Formula 1 drivers, most notably James Hunt, in a race that punched his ticket to Formula 1. I vividly remember watching the World RX Canada round there in 2019 and the sound of the launch control blasting in my ears. Because yes, there was rallycross there. The RX layout is officially in Dirt Rally 2.0 and I personally think it's great fun, and it shares similarity to the 1978 to 1985 layout I talked about due to the use of the infield, but naturally is shortened to fit the usual RX circuit length. The Grand Prix still goes on to this day, with NASCAR Canada headlining the weekends and diverse support races like Legends cars, F1600s, the Central Cup, the Super Production Challenge, and as of this year, the Radical Cup Canada. There's also the Mayor's Cup, which has a LT mix of GT4, GT3, and TCR cars. Now, I think it's time to go drive around a bit and let me show you the streets of Trois-Rivières. So welcome to the Circuit Trois-Rivières, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the track, so this is the main straight. And for the Hotlap today, I chose to use a Legends car. So this is from a mod pack I found on Overtake. Yeah, it drives really nice, we'll see that a bit later. For now, we are doing the sightseeing lap. I just try and show you around the racetrack pretty much. So we're currently on the Gilles Villeneuve Avenue. So we just passed the start finish, and here we have the first turn, which is a big right-hander. So you've got not that much runoff, but this here especially is very wide. So normally you'll be fine to take it, at kind of bigger speeds. Alright, so over here we are on the Rue de l'Hippodrome, and over here at the end of this there is another left-hander onto Rue des Forges, I'm pretty sure. Or no, actually this is still the Boulevard de l'Hippodrome. But on the right here is where the rallycross layout would go, and where the 1978 to 85 I think layout would go to with the infield extension. Now after this left-hander over here, on the surface isn't that bad. On some, I guess it's slightly uneven, but it's really, it's still pretty good for a street circuit. And now over here we have the Porte du Plessis, which I've been talking about. Right after that, we come over here, a bit of a wider exit. And now we hop on Boulevard du Carmel, which is kind of one of two big straights we have on actual streets. Now I say straight, I guess you can say there's a turn in the middle of it. It's really not that big of a turn, that sharp of a turn. So really it's flat out the entire way through here. Now we've got a hard left-hander over here, pretty much 90 degrees onto Rue du Calonne, which is another street yet again. I mean, this is pretty much entirely a street circuit. We can see the houses on the right too. So this really goes like right in front of people's homes. So over here, left-hander, which has a big runoff, and I'm not sure where the track limits go, but I seem to be able to come over here on this green curb without problem most times. Over here on the left, we've got the pit entry. We've got a slight, kind of a hairpin, I guess you can call it, but it's not that sharp over here. And then we've got, I guess, some kind of chicane, you can call it, a bit of a tight turn. Over here, back onto Avenue Gilles Villeneuve. So this is a lap of the Circuit Trois-Rivières. So as you've seen, it's kind of a short lap, but it makes for really awesome races. It's a nice circuit. The terrain is so well made in this mod. You can feel the bumps like perfectly. And yeah, I guess I don't have much else to say other than that. And I will be doing my hot lap right after this.